Okay, get ready for the major flood to come.
Yep, there she goes.
That's the cylinder that we're down. Don't see anything. Oh, hang on, dog.
Okay, yeah, we've got something going on.
What in the Alright, so today is the day that we are finally going to be pulling the GT350 Voodoo engine apart, which is kind of scary. But if you guys remember a few videos ago, if you haven't seen that, go click up above and check it out. But anyways, we pulled the engine out of the Shelby. Once we got the engine out, we pretty much got it up on an engine stand, split the trans open, looked at the clutch, did all that good stuff. As you guys know, I do have a Manic twin disc, and I'm going to be replacing the stock clutch with, because we were blowing through that thing with the twin turbos. And if you guys don't even know why we're doing this, if you're new here, we pulled the engine out because we actually lost one of the cylinders after, well, technically it was before we twin turboed it. I bought the car, and these engines have a lot of issues with ringland failure, which I believe is what we have going on here, but there's not really a way to determine it until we pull it apart today. But anyways, whenever I bought the car, I didn't notice that we were already down a cylinder, and sounds stupid, but we actually twin turboed it after that, so we didn't even find out that it had any kind of loss of compression or anything until the turbos came up and kind of made it a prevalent issue. So now after that, we pretty much pulled the engine out because we knew that we were going to have to get a new piston put in it, and we're hoping that today, whenever we pull it apart, we're going to find out that the ringland is the failing point, which I'm hoping and crossing my fingers that it is, and hopefully get everything replaced and fixed back up so we can get this car running maybe in the next few days. As you guys can see, we've actually already got the transmission split off of the engine. We got the engine pulled off of the K-member, and it's actually up on the engine stand already. As you guys know, if you've been listening to me talk about it for the last few days, we're getting all this stuff pulled off of the stock K-member, and we're actually replacing it onto this tubular K-member here. So this Magnaride on the GT350, Doug noticed, and I didn't even think about it, but I mounted the stock K-member right here, but the issue is that this new tubular K-member does not have mounts for that. Anyways, we'll figure that out, but so the goal is hopefully to get all this transferred over to the tubular K-member. We've got our transmission here on the ground. Like I said, the stock clutch actually doesn't look that beat up. Anyways, we're getting rid of that junky heavy stock clutch, and we're replacing it with a Manic twin disc. As you guys know, here's the Manic triple disc out of the black car. We've got literally just parts everywhere. There's a trans here, Supercharger kit up there, injectors. There's a K-member up against the wall. There's a K-member on the ground. There's one engine there. There's turbos there. There's stuff everywhere. It's a nightmare in here right now. As you guys see, the engine is already pulled down. Valve covers, intake manifold, timing cover. What we're trying to do now, Doug is marking the timing chain so that way we can pull the timing chain off the front, pull the phasers. Well, actually we won't have to pull the phasers. We can just pull all the cam caps and lift that all out of the way. This engine actually has head bolts. We should have just got head studs.
It's not too late.
We're gonna pull all the head bolts out, lift the head off. Once we get the head off, we'll be able to inspect that cylinder in there, further diagnose or figure out another problem. We'll figure it out one way or another, but hopefully no further problems, definitely. But
almost gotten us for some reason. I don't know what I did in the past life, but it wasn't good.
You?
Oh yeah, this is your cars.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is all my stuff. All my shit's broke. Your stuff's doing good.
No, it's not.
Oh, you have Doug has a slipping clutch. It's the end of the world.
Yeah. I just put it in though. That's what sucks.
I just got this car and the engine's out.
Yeah, but
and the clutch was slipping.
But I'm here and it's fine. It's gonna be just fine.
Oh, Jesus. Anyways, today should be pretty fun. Let's just let's dive into it.
I can't shake the feeling that it's about to happen, that I'ma make a killing. I got dreams at night being in front of millions. I wake up stressed out yelling at the ceiling. Yeah. Where will my life go? Will I ever be on my own? After the last 2 years, seeing how that went, I'm pretty good.
Alright, so the cams are ready to come out now. We should be able to just lift straight up now. Head studs are busted loose now. Cams are out of the way. All we're gonna do now is finish unbolting them all out of each slot. We're gonna be able to pull the entire head off. What's your hypothesis? What's it gonna look like? Cracked ringland?
Yeah.
Cracked piston face?
Nah, it's gonna be something pretty minor again. Once again, a ringland or a ring itself. I think we're just gonna see more of the same, what we've seen lately, unfortunately.
What we've seen lately, we've got the Coyote block over there that had cracked ringlands. We just shipped off a Coyote that had, I believe, some ring issues. Still not sure yet what's going on with it. Now we're pulling apart this one. It's just like every engine that we've got going right now is not working out right. All right, guys, time to switch cameras. We're gonna get this head off. Yep. Okay, get ready for the major flood to come.
Yep. There she goes. Oh yeah, she wet.
That's the cylinder that we're down. Don't see anything. Oh, hang on, dog. Oh my God.
What are you looking at?
What am I looking at?
Oh okay, yeah, we've got something going on.
What in the f is that? That's not good.
Could have been running like that for 10,000 miles and we never knew it.
Oh, no way. That's a new block, dude.
Is it really figgity fuck?
It's bad figgity fuck. Like, not even a joke. Feel that. Honestly, that's bad.
Yeah, that's been that way for a long time.
Throwback to whenever I took this car to Ford and I said, hey, it sounds like there's an issue at startup. And it sounds like it's down on power. It sounds like this and that. And they looked at it and they're like, oh, no, it's normal. Don't worry about it.
Let's give them, hang on. Hear that? This is smooth. This is what we got.
Oh my gosh. I don't even know what to say right now. That was not what I was expecting when we pulled that thing apart. I was literally sitting there and I was looking at it. I was like, well, we got it open. I can see it. I don't see anything. And I was like, oh my God. That's how you go from bad to worse like that. You know what the worst part about this is? This part that I'm really upset about. I'm trying to hold it all in and not freak out, but this is a $15,000 engine. I think the part that I'm most upset about is the fact that I bought the car like this. I took it to Ford complaining about it. They didn't even look at it. And I can prove that it was like this already whenever I bought the car, and it was still under warranty whenever it was bone stock. Our stock plugs are fouled out because this was already a pre-existing issue.
That doesn't happen in a week of being boosted.
No, yeah, that's something else that people probably forget about too, is that this car was only boosted for a week and it was on 6 pounds. And the first startup though, you remember the first startup that we did with the car? It was smoking so bad and I was like, what is that? And we were like, oh, it's probably just the pipes breaking in, which I mean, that makes sense, except for the fact that now I see what it was. See, so look, now this is the problem. I was sitting here and I was like, well, my morals are telling me that I probably shouldn't just take it back to Ford now that it's been twin turboed and do all that. I should probably just suck it up, just bite the bullet. Let's make some content. Let's have fun with it. Let's just replace that piston. Now that I see all that, now it's pissed me off. I'm not gonna lie, because I took it to Ford. God, dude.
No, normally I'd be joking about certain 2 words right now.
Job security.
I didn't say it.
Yeah.
You want a dog hug?
No, I'm good. I just don't know what to do now. That's real bad. Most of the time I'd also be joking around and I'd be like, oh, that sucks, but it's okay. This is just not one of those situations where I was like, oh, this sucks, but it's gonna work itself out. This is really bad, actually. How did these things keep happening to me? I don't know what I did. I feel like I'm a good person. Guys, hey, do me a favor. Go to itsjustsix.com/shop right now. Buy as much merch as possible. Oh my God. I think the thing that I'm most upset about too is I didn't even want to say this on camera, but the cam races on this engine are completely screwed.
We don't know why either.
No, I know. I have a feeling.
Oh.
What? Please don't tell me the bearing. Oh my God, dude. What happened to this thing? Oh my God, dude. Are you kidding me? We've got a spun bearing.
It's not spun. It's just definitely pretty warm.
That's
it's not spun.
close to being spun though. I'm on it. Okay, like that. That is the fastest that my day has been ruined in a really long time. Let me see the inside of the bearings real quick on here.
They're pretty not happy.
What's the ringland look like?
It was damaged on this lower side here.
I don't see anything. That's not good. You know what that tells me?
I think somebody's been inside this motor. You know, also, look, those weren't really that far out of phase.
The rings look fine. The piston looks fine. Circle the piston around. I don't see anywhere on that piston damage. That's probably a brand new piston. You know what that means? That means that this was definitely a pre-existing issue long before. Whenever the car was almost new, I guarantee you it lost the cylinder. Ringland issue. It tore the block up. They threw a new piston in there and just sent it back home because it was running fine, quote unquote. Just like they told me from the warranty. That is a brand new piston with reused rings and it's the same rod. I guarantee it. Same thing that we were about to do just now, except for it happened previously. The piston's fine. The rings are fine. No cracks, no cracked ringlands, no nothing.
It's pretty odd to say the least.
Can you see anything at all? I surely don't. That looks like a brand new piston.
It looks pretty new. I mean, it's worn in. You can see some skirt wear.
That's probably because where the block was torn up.
So
whatever tore the block up originally is not there in the engine anymore, is my point. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because that's fine. Why on earth does the cylinder wall look like that? Because literally the only answer is because it blew up in the past. That's gotta be why the bearings look like that. Something happened. I'm telling you, this engine has been through hell for some reason. But why is that?
Okay, and that's our.
And see, the
top
rings look
ring.
almost brand new too. Look at that. That's crazy.
You see it? Okay, this one has a slight 45 on the inside here, so we can note that as the top ring. We'll take this one. This should be our second compression ring. Probably has a scraper on it.
Ring looks brand new too.
Notice we say top here.
with a dot.
Dude, I wonder if that top means it's supposed to be the top. Pretty good. No, it's not. Look, we got, see this little notch here? A little 7 looking notch? That means it's the secondary ring scraping oil back down into the crankcase. We'll just leave the
Dude, there
oil
is
ring.
not a single problem with the ringland.
We were looking at being right down here is where our wear would be.
And it looks perfect. You can just see blow by right here where the oil's been blowing by.
Yeah.
Which would also explain why we were getting smoke out of the PCV, remember?
Notice we have our indicator here. This is our arrow facing forward, so we're gonna go from there. That means that we would be right about 4 to 5 o'clock position right here.
And there's nothing on that piston indicating that that was what caused that on the block. Normally, typically, guys, if you're looking at some marring on the cylinder wall that bad, you're going to be looking at a cracked ringland so bad that it's going to be like a corner of the chunk blown out.
Yeah. And that could also make sense as to why we've got bearing issues. They could have over torqued it whenever they put it back together.
Yep. I wonder who did it.
Normally
Tried throwing a new
Ford-
piston in it.
Normally, I'll say Ford doesn't allow techs to do
Voodoo stuff. They normally will replace the entire block or the entire engine.
No, I can't. I mean, we can only speculate. You know, we can't point fingers. We can just take it.
Well, what I'm curious about though is what happened in the past for that to happen and then them to replace it with a piston, but then throw it all back together and not replace the whole block, the long block. Ford replaces the long blocks typically. Why would they have taken a car that is bone stock under warranty to another shop to have them swap a piston in it? And like you said, that would explain the bearing issue too. They could have over torqued it.
We don't know. I mean, the only thing we can try to contact the last owner and like be like, look, we're not trying to point any fingers here. We just know what's going on. I mean, this bearing, really, if you feel it, it doesn't feel completely marred, but it's definitely got some uneven wear marks.
Yeah, I mean, you can see in there that the bearing's still not happy either way, which is odd for a stock motor.
I don't know,
I
man.
mean, it's a stock motor with low miles. It's gotten hardly. I mean, it's just confusing to me. I really don't even know what to say. I'm really mad, so I'm just trying not to start saying a bunch of stupid shit. But Jesus. And then look, this is what I was gonna say: is check out on these cams. If we look really close. These are marred up so bad. And these don't have bearings on them. As you guys know, these actually just slide into the race on the head. So like, this is a Coyote head, but like they just slide into the head itself and there's a cam cap that comes over it. And there's oil that goes in between it and that's pretty much how it works. It's like a little bearing. So why would that be like that on every single one?
I also find it pretty odd that whenever we pulled these rings out, they were barely clocked out of phase. I mean, you have to understand rings do move, but normally there's a certain amount of revolutions per RPM. So normally if you clock them 180 out, then they will also move 180 out under load. You know, moving up and down the cylinder wall. I think it's like
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, because they were so close to each other.
Yeah.
So like what he's talking about is the end gaps of the rings. Whenever we pulled this apart,
it was like
the end gaps were like this.
They were
which
very
typically
close.
On an engine, whenever you're assembling it, you've got one ring right here, one gap here, and then 180 degrees, you've got the other gap here. And like Doug was saying, typically whenever rings will move around, they will shift, but typically they'll stay 180 out from each other and just move around.
Or close enough.
Yeah, they won't move to be to the same, which also points us in the direction that somebody has been in here and did not know what the f they were doing.
It's kind of frustrating.
It's real frustrating, actually, yeah. I'm not comfortable just boring it over and putting bigger pistons in it, oversized pistons. I would personally rather just see it being sleeved or get a whole new block. The cheaper alternative at this point is probably going to be just to get it sleeved, but the problem even further than that is that inside of the heads, the races are completely marred up, which means that we're probably not even going to be able to use the stock heads or the stock cams, which under Ford's warranty, if they would have replaced the engine, they replaced the entire engine on the Voodoos. Like Doug was saying, they typically do not let any of the Ford technicians, they don't let them work on Voodoo engines. So if there is an issue with it, they determine that it's an oil consumption engine, which means that it's got blow by, or in this case, I don't know what the f is going on with that, but typically they'll just replace the entire engine as a whole, which would have fixed this issue completely. But instead, now we're stuck with completely screwed stock heads, completely screwed stock cams, and a completely screwed block and bottom end. That's not good. I'm gonna call Jeff real quick at Hellhorse Performance. He's been trying to help us get this engine back together. Let me call him and let him know. I told him I'd update him. He's the one that shipped us the piston kit to fix it, by the way.
Your call has been forwarded to an automated...
Come on, cuz. You gotta answer.
Maybe he's doing a poo-poo.
Doing a poo-poo.
He might be doing
He could be doing a poo-poo.
Your call...
I don't even know what to do from here.
Personally, I wouldn't sleeve it.
Why?
I would just have it bored over 20 thousandths, put larger pistons in it.
Why would you not sleeve it though?
Because sleeves can distort over time. You can drop a sleeve, you can have sleeve imperfections. Boring a motor is honestly, if you want it to be extremely reliable, it's probably the way to go. It's not going to be able to support quite as much horsepower as a sleeve, but you have less issues over time with longevity. Now, if you're trying to send it and make 1,500 horsepower, just leave it. But at that point, you know you're probably gonna blow it up someday anyway.
Well, at this point, why not just throw sleeves in there, throw head studs in there, throw cams in there?
The reason really is a transmission, and then you're gonna start breaking everything else, and then you're gonna end up
with a black car again.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there we have it, guys. I did not want to see that. I was hoping that we would pull it apart. We'd find a cracked ringland. We'd be dingleberry honing it right now, slap the new piston in there, and get it back running. But it looks like the Shelby is going to be down for a lot longer. A lot longer than I expected. So that's really not fun by any means. But I'm going to try to stay positive. Like I said, guys, comment down below and let us know what you think. This situation is pretty bad. I won't lie. It seems like it keeps getting worse and worse every situation over the last few weeks. But whatever. Figure it out.
So
good news or bad news first? Which one do you want?
Good news, sure.
Okay, the good news is that we don't have to use the piston that you sent me.
The bad news is you need a motor?
Yep.
What'd you do? What's wrong?
Well, it'll need a block to get
Wait, why do you need
sleeved.
a block?
I'll send you a video. It's gonna need a block, heads, and cams most likely.
What'd you do to the heads?
Well,
We didn't do anything.
we didn't do anything at all, but what I'm assuming happened through the evidence is that it looks like the previous owner completely grenaded that engine, and it looks like somebody, I shit you not, took a grinder and ground out like 3 or 4 or 5 6,000ths out of the cylinder wall in one spot from the top to the bottom of the cylinder wall.
Well, I guess it wasn't running all that good. You were losing a lot of races you should have been winning.
Yeah, I lost to a Ford truck.
Hey, listen. It's a Coyote. They're fast, all right? And I know this is a new rule for you, but they're fast. What's your professional opinion? Because you're a professional.
Right. It can be
Is it
sleeved.
used to sleeve?
Not
Like,
really.
is it through the stock sleeves?
No,
Oh my god.
not entirely. I'll send you a
I hope this
video.
car was cheap. I hope this is like the cheapest car you could find. You bought the cheapest GT350 possible.
Well, I will say it was the cheapest GT350 literally on the market in the United States. So
I think you know why now.
I found out.
Maybe you finding the Camaro was God's way of telling you
I needed another car to drive around for a while.
you don't keep anything stock like your viewers tell you, and that you're going to end up with another race car.
Well,
It makes more sense to give it to Will, get it sleeved and built, and find a head.
well, the heads I think can be salvaged, but it's going to need for sure new cams and new cam caps, like without a doubt.
Yeah, the only way to get cam caps is by buying a head. Unless MMR makes them. I don't know.
MMR makes billet cam caps,
Well, I guess you can
$300.
cam cap, but you could use those if you can salvage the heads.
So what kind of money are we looking at here, just so I have an idea?
Less than a Stinger GT.
Cool. Great.
Running on, running on. Yeah, that's right. Tell these bitches, please stay in your lane, move along. Might take a trip across the pond just to flex. Papa saying, yeah, we got a long flight home. Say she got a man, but that ring is gone. She my greatest fan, play this song, she sing along. Bounce that